gotta crack one open for this freaking pay-per-view, man. Like, this is AEW. I'm not used to these long shows anymore. I'm not used to it.
Neither am I, but let's just say the full capacity crowd at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, helped us get through this phenomenal show. Yes, we are talking about AEW Double or Nothing, emanating live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, with a full-blown crowd. And let me tell you, the minute I turned on the pre-show and I saw that crowd, I knew we were in for a magical night.
Light at the end of the tunnel, baby. Most of the country's been vaccinated at this point, and WWE is going back on the road fairly soon, and AEW gives us a full capacity crowd. Oh, man, it helps the show so much. I've missed it tremendously, and I've missed you all tremendously. I can't wait to see you all at the shows. Let us know what shows you're going to down in the comments. I'm super, super excited to see you all and meet you all. And, yeah, if you like this little game Tomas and I and sometimes Chris play every single month over here on the channel, we're talking about wrestling all the time. I, of course, talk about cinema back here as well. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. It's big in red. You know you want to. It's completely free. It would really, really help us out immensely. And go ahead and hit that thumbs up also by the end. Just, your traditional reminder. But howdy doody, Double or Nothing. So, first things first, I was talking to Tomas about this yesterday, but I've got a bone to pick with BR Live because Tomas ordered this pay-per-view without a hitch, and it took me at least an hour to actually pay for this damn thing. Like, I put my order in at least like 3 times, and it was not taking my card for some reason. So, I told him my solution. A complete factory reset of my Roku TV is what did the trick. So thank you, Bleacher Report. You really did me a favor there, but well worth it. Well worth it.
Probably gave you a heart attack in the process.
Oh, God. I was getting so frustrated at that point. I was like, can I just not order this damn thing?
Yeah.
Like, is it not letting me watch the show?
Yeah, and
like,
before we get into the pay-per-view, I think this is worth a tangent, but how much longer until AEW kind of partners up with different platforms so we can order this pay-per-view? Like, BR Live should not be the only platform we should order this pay-per-view on. I'm surprised they don't have a deal with Fight TV. I'm surprised they don't have a deal with any sort of other streaming platform.
To my understanding, they have a deal with Fight TV, but it's only overseas in the UK specifically. Like, shout out to Ren Geekness. He's going to be a guest on my channel this Sunday, actually, for a Fincher stream. But I'm sure he watched this pay-per-view through Fight. But yeah, I totally agree. I think there should be more outlets for us to watch this on. But,
yeah, I know we're years away from getting an AEW network, but maybe a easier way for us to order these pay-per-views.
Yes.
I will say, after this show, I may need to get back to my DVD collecting because there was no way in hell I was going to be buying DVDs with little to no crowds. But this is one I might want to own because since I ordered this pay-per-view and we get 30-day replay with it, I definitely want to go back and watch this again because there was some matches. Again, there was something in the air, and of course, it's obvious. The crowds were back. They were jacked. This is something AEW has needed. They got robbed of this 6 months into their TV deal with TNT. Everything gets ripped away. They've been wrestling in front of virtually no crowds for the past year and a half, and this was nice. We needed this.
Yep, and
I just can't get over that.
Me neither. And I can't get over how hot this crowd was for this buy-in match. And we'll talk about this briefly before we get into the main show. But it was for the NWA Women's World title. Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko certified, as defending against the first AEW Women's World Champion, Riho. And both of them got huge pops coming out.
Yeah. So before we get into the match itself, there's a couple of things I noticed. Number one, I loved the visual of Daly's Place. Not only packed to the brim, but the sun was starting to set, and this was the last of the sunshine we get. This and the opening match before the sun would, kind of not play a factor anymore. And there's 2 things I noticed. Number one, this is going to sound very weird, but with the lighting and the way the entrance was set up, it gave me WrestleMania 9 vibes, believe it or not. Back when they did the Rome Coliseum theme. It was very weird, and I know that's not a WrestleMania we want to compare this show to, but I couldn't help but think about that.
It made me
during the show.
maybe more so think of WrestleMania 31, which we were both at. I can't believe you didn't think about that. It was like, you know, the sun was out for most of that show too, and I got sunburnt that day. But
yeah, but the other thing I wanted to point out is that WrestleMania got wrecked by the rain. These poor ladies in the beginning of this match, they were probably wrecked by the heat. It was probably humid as hell out there in Jacksonville.
Goodness
The only
gracious.
thing I do not envy from this crowd is that them all bunched together. They were probably packed together like a bunch of sardines, and it was probably hot and humid throughout the entire show. I hope everyone out there, if you were there, I hope you were keeping hydrated. I hope you were keeping cool, because if there's two things Florida is known for, it's rain and humidity.
Part of why I don't like Florida is the humidity. But in any case, these two ladies went out there and they put on a pretty killer match, all things considered, for a pre-show. Serena was acting very heelish for a lot of this. She got a huge pop, and then she slaps Riho after she tries to shake her hand. And then from then on, it was all the crowd was all behind Riho. It was a pretty funny 180 there.
Oh, yeah. Me personally, I was behind Serena Deeb in this match because I love Serena Deeb. Yeah. And ever since she's been working with NWA and has been holding that NWA Women's Championship, it definitely showed in this match. She has been working a very old school style, and she worked a very old school heel style. Just, you know, a lot of dirty tactics, a lot of working on Riho's back and her knee throughout this entire match. Really just getting the crowd to, even though I was on her side, you couldn't help but boo her because she was just being such a nasty little heel in this match.
Oh, she was being so Dean Malenko circa mid-90s. Like, it was so awesome to see that. Riho does she does eventually make her comeback, and she hits the 619, but Excalibur can't call it the 619 because trademarks, of course. Really, really nice reversals by Riho, and there's some "this is awesome" chants. But eventually, Riho taps to Serena's finisher, the Serenity Lock, which is a nice little hold there. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like 3 1/4, 3.5. This was a great pre-show match. I was very surprised.
You know what? Not to take anything away from the ladies, but if it wasn't for the crowd and it wasn't for everything being so jacked, this match probably would have just been a decent match. But everything all together, the ladies' work, the crowd, and, you know, this is what AEW needed, especially for women like Serena Deeb, especially for a lot of people that we'll be talking about in the Casino Battle Royale. A lot of these wrestlers have not gotten the opportunity to wrestle in front of a live crowd like this.
Yep.
And they were finally able to feed up. Like, Serena was definitely feeding off of this crowd. I do not think the bulk of this storytelling would have came off as well if Deeb didn't have the crowd to work off of. And I agree with you. This was a 3.5 star match for me. And, you know, after this match, I was saying, holy shit, that was the buy-in match. We're in for one hell of a pay-per-view tonight.
And indeed we are, because Taz is introduced at the commentary table because his guy is in the opener, Tomas, in Hangman Page versus Brian Cage in a rhyming match where the only way to win is to catch your opponent with as many rhymes in the time that they're allotted.
Okay, Vince Russo.
bro, see, yeah, that's the fucking swerve right there. You talk about a freaking gimmick, you talk about Page versus Cage in a rhyme on a pole match, bro. But
let me tell you one thing that wasn't, I can't even come up with a clever enough analogy to segue into this, but Brian Cage lives up to his name as the Machine, and he comes out in full-blown half robot armor. This was like, you know,
I had no clue what it was.
AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year, so it was really cool to see Cage like kind of bust out this WrestleMania-esque attire for this match.
He comes out with like half Terminator gear, and
probably the only complaint I could have with this match is why wasn't the FTW title on the line?
Because Hangman Page is too good for the FTW title, obviously.
Oof,
but speaking of, man, a shout out to our buddy Chris. But Hangman was over. I knew it. I fucking knew it, man.
The minute Page's music hit, the first words out of my mouth were, "Holy shit, this guy is still the most over babyface in AEW."
He's gonna be the one to beat Kenny Omega for the title. I can feel it. You know,
like before even getting into this match, I was just like, strap the rocket onto this guy. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously he's a fantastic wrestler, but I don't know what it is, but people like this guy. And he doesn't even try. Like, he doesn't, try too hard to get the crowd on his side. He just goes out there, does his cowboy shit, and it gets over. And I mean, this may be a little bit too much, but God, I might even say he's a modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh man, that's high praise. I don't know if I can go that far yet, but he
is over as a mother.
He's like a Stone Cold Seth Rollins hybrid almost. Thinking about it, he's got Stone Cold's attitude with a twinge of Seth Rollins' offense.
Yeah, but when it comes to AEW standards, like, this guy is fucking over.
Loud cowboy shit, Chance, to your point. And I cannot wait to go to my first AEW show so I can just chant that at Hangman Page. I love the man. But Brian Cage was dominating. He was hitting a lot of his athletic moves. He's got at least 50 pounds on Hangman Page, but you wouldn't have thought that because
you want another hot take?
Yeah.
And you may agree with this one a little more. Brian Cage is a modern day 2002 Brock Lesnar. Oh my God. I've always praised Brian Cage. I mean, this man is, close to 300 pounds, and he was the X Division champion and then later on the Impact World champion.
Yep.
Coming here to AEW, this was the first time, I feel like, since he arrived last year and he absolutely dominated that ladder match, that he just showed what a freak this man is. Power bombs and suplexes and later on when we get to the match, what we're talking about, I couldn't help but think of like a 2002 Brock Lesnar.
Yes. I mean, if he was really a 2002 Brock Lesnar, he would have beaten Jon Moxley for the world title at Fight for the Fallen. But, I mean, I was in that camp. I wanted him to do that, but, they didn't pull the trigger, and Mox went on to hold the title for like another 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But Adam Page with a moonsault from the heavens to the floor. There's that Seth Rollins-esque offense I was talking about. Hangman Page gets superplexed onto the ramp, which looked nasty. And Cage, there was a point where he was going for the buckshot lariat, but then Adam Page returns the favor and hits Brian Cage's finisher. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
The F500.
Oh, thank you. The F500.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that brings up a trope that, you're a big fan of, that we talked about in 2002, that Page and Cage kind of traded each other's finishers. And, when Cage was setting up for the buckshot lariat, that's when I was thinking, like, no, he can't do this. But he did that flip so clean, and that's when the Lesnar vibe started coming out again. And he didn't hit the buckshot, but Adam Page is able to hit him with the F500. But before that, Brian Cage hits an F500 off the top rope to Hangman. And I'm just like,
it was a thing
holy
of beauty.
Shit, how was that not the finish?
It was a thing of beauty, man. Adam Page kicks out to a huge pop. But then this is kind of where the match gets, like, minus points for me. We get a run-in from Team Taz, and Brian Cage refuses help from them. And that ends up basically being his downfall. Adam Page then hits the buckshot lariat and gets the 3 count to a huge pop, and he beats Brian Cage clean as a whistle. I'm comfortable giving this 4 stars. I'm being completely serious. It was a great opener, like I said. Did it need the interference? Probably not, but it was Hangman Page, and he was over. The crowd didn't really care.
Is where I'm gonna kind of disagree with you. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but I think this was excellent storytelling because obviously they're teasing the babyface turn for Brian Cage.
Yeah,
and I think this was an excellent example of Cage and Page were out there killing it. That, Cage saw the FTW title and was just like, I don't need to use this title to beat Page. It harkens back to what initially started this, and Brian Cage showing respect to Sting. And his teammates are mad at him because of that. You can't show respect to a legend. So this is just Cage going, no, I don't want to win the title. I don't want to win the match in a dirty fashion by using my title belt. I want to beat this guy. And, I feel like that was good storytelling, and it was good advancing to the inevitable split of Team Taz. And let me tell you right now, I'm kind of looking forward to that. AEW is a little heel heavy, and considering who's in Team Taz, they all kind of need to go. I want to see what Ricky Starks can do by himself. I want to see what Powerhouse Hobbs can do by himself.
Especially Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, I want to see what Brian Cage as a babyface can do by himself. I think Team Taz has kind of run its course, and it's holding a lot of these guys down. It was a good introductory for Hobbs and Cage and Starks, but it's run its course. I want to see what these guys can do on their own.
You can still keep Taz as a manager, just don't have him have his stable anymore. I mean, he can manage. He can manage Ricky Starks all he wants. He can be a heel commentator if he wants to. Also,
hell, he can just solely manage his son because I think his son needs it.
Yeah, he needs that guidance for sure. But great opener. But this is probably like one of the best first hours of pay-per-view in a long time. Next up is the Young Bucks defending the World Tag Team titles against the random tag team, Tomas, of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. As loaded as this tag team division is, we go with a fabricated tag team of a former world champion in Moxley and an over babyface in Eddie Kingston. But
you know what? This is going to be a theme of the show.
Yeah.
If there was no crowd here, I'd be right there with you. But the minute Moxley and Kingston's music hit and I saw how that crowd exploded, I didn't care anymore.
Mox was psyched. He was so happy to see everybody.
We went from Moxley not wanting to touch a fan during his entrance for a world title match to him slapping fans' hands to grabbing a beer from an audience member and drinking it. God, I'm happy this shit's back.
Sandman style, man. And I, for one, also, I was talking to Tomas before I hit go. I popped for Eddie Kingston's Bad News Bears jersey that he came out with. It was awesome. And he still wore those colors, too. But, yeah, huge boos for the Bucks, which was so awesome to hear because, you know, they're playing their characters right. You know, I was just expecting them to cheer them because they're the Bucks. But
and you know, it was working on me when I saw what they were dressed in, and I just thought they looked like a couple of cunts. You just wanted to see them get their ass kicked for what they were wearing.
And they sure did. Mox attacks them right before the bell, and he's stuffing the streamers from their entrance down Matt Jackson's throat, and I was like, Jesus, this is going to be a fight. And a fight
I think even Shivani said, like, yeah, Moxley shoved those streamers down his throat, and I was like, damn.
Shivani really thought Matt Jackson deserved it, you know?
I've been watching some old school WCW pay-per-views, and Shivani has never held back. He's always said what's on his mind, and I love him for it.
He's extremely emotional.
Before we go into the rest of the match, there's another aspect of the crowd being there that really changed my mind about something. I wasn't too crazy about Moxley changing his theme song to Wild Thing. Not gonna lie. Nah. I really liked his theme song. But hearing the crowd sing along to it, I mean, I don't love it still, but holy shit, that was cool.
Oh man, it was really awesome. And you know, it was even more awesome hearing the pop that Eddie Kingston got during the match because he has not had the full AEW crowd treatment yet. He was one of those people that was signed along with Mr. Brody Lee and all those other people during the pandemic, so he hasn't really gotten to feel that full AEW experience yet. And
also remember
so happy.
Was a refugee from NWA Power.
Yeah.
When NWA Power unfortunately had to, shut down shop, a lot of wrestlers like Kingston, like Ricky Starks, like Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa, AEW, kind of did a partnership with NWA, so those wrestlers go over there, and that was one of the positives because Kingston has grown so much as a character, and from watching him from NWA Power to now, I never thought I'd see him this over as a babyface. Never in my wildest dreams.
I'm so happy for that guy. It was just awesome. I sadly did not really take a whole lot of notes during this match because I had a bunch of dinner in front of me, so that was that. But holy fuck balls, what a match this was. I loved it. I don't think this was as good of a tag match as the Bucks versus FTR. I'm sorry, Tomas. I like that match more, but I feel like the ref had more control over the Bucks and FTR. The ref lost all control at some point.
That was a huge nitpick a lot of fans had with this match.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I really didn't notice it because my full attention wasn't on this match either. But, I was hearing a lot of people saying that the referee was being a little too lenient, that the commentators were kind of defending the referee being a little too lenient, and they weren't being consistent on, what was being. It was very, unfortunately, WCW style booking here, where it's just like, we're not going to be consistent with the rules. We're not going to. Unfortunately, this would be a theme in another tag team match later in the night too, but I digress.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, awesome tag team match. The ending basically comes around, and Mox keeps kicking out of the Bucks offense here. And like to your point, the Bucks are double teaming right in front of the referee, and he's being very, very lenient with it, which really
super
bugs.
Kick party, BTE trigger. I think
Yep.
Moxley takes a Meltzer driver on the ramp, which
he
holy
did.
shit,
he
how
did.
is he still alive?
He did. Oh man, I forgot about that. The Meltzer driver. That's one of my favorite finishers ever. I love it. But yeah, I think there were like double BTE triggers. They did it like 4 or 5 times, and that's what got Moxley. That's what made them pin Moxley. I'm comfortable giving this 4.5. I like I said, I really loved it. I think this match went a little bit long. I think I would have gone 5 if they were crowned new champions here.
I like this match. I like the opener more, which I forgot to rate. I give the opener 4 stars. I think I'll give this one 3 3/4 because yes, the beginning was fantastic, and there was, again, it was your typical Young Bucks match. And I will say, in defense of the Bucks, they have a style of wrestling that I like to call junk food wrestling, and it's that style that not everybody loves, but I'm fine with it every once in a while. And I feel like it's the same as junk food. I'll admit, I like candy and chips and chocolate and other stuff, but I'm not going to eat it every day.
No.
Just like I'm not going to sit around and watch this crazy high-flying, high-spot kick out of every finishing move, do a triple, quadruple moonsault and kick out at one kind of wrestling. You know, when it's there,
Yep.
I love it. I'll enjoy it, but I don't want to see it all the time. And I think tonight I was in the mood for some dessert, and this was my dessert match, definitely for sure.
Yeah, this was basically your cheat meal match, basically. You know,
basically.
But, hey, nothing wrong with a cheat meal. The Bucks are freaking. I keep saying they're the best tag team in the world, and I think I still hold true to that. Even with the Usos reuniting on SmackDown, like, I mean, nobody can touch the Bucks right now. They're on another level. Mox and Kingston, though, they made a better tag team than I thought going in. I thought they worked extremely well together. They were true underdogs. Loved it.
Exceptionally exceeded expectations by a long shot.
Yeah.
And again, I loved it. I need to watch it again. But from what I remember, I liked it a lot.
Same, yeah. Speaking of exceeding expectations, Tomas, here we are again. Another casino battle royale. I think a lot of us know how these work at this point. The winner gets a future AEW World Championship match, which was determined to be 2 weeks from now on Dynamite.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as in future, they mean in a couple weeks.
they mean in a couple weeks, and they mean taking the pinfall from Omega.
You know, kind of jump the gun. To kind of jump the gun, they did announce that All Out is returning to Chicago September 5th.
Yes.
And I know AEW can't hold it off that long, but it would be kind of cool if they did. You know what I mean? Kind of acknowledge the winner of this match, have them cut a promo on the champion, and then kind of forget about it for a couple months.
Yeah.
And then when August rolls around, they can, bring it up again. Be like, hey, don't forget about me. I won that Battle Royal. Kind of build up the winner a little. But you know what? I'm that's nitpicking on my part.
A little bit.
AEW and WWE kind of have the same, I don't want to say problem, but the same philosophy with they're not going to wait 4 months for a title match. They're going to do it within a reasonable time. But
they're
going
to do it at Fighter Fest or Fight for the Fallen, a special Dynamite. But, anyway. I should also note that the large performance, Paul White, was on commentary for this match, Battle Royal, extraordinaire. And we start off, our starting group is the Clubs group. Christian Cage is starting, of course, because his gimmick is outwork everyone, Tomas.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, writing's on the wall. Christian's just going to go the distance and win this.
Real quick, if you don't know the rules of this match and you've never seen this before, it's kind of like a Royal Rumble, but instead of one person coming out every 90 seconds, it's a group of 5 people come out every 3 minutes, and it's determined by what group you're in depending on a card. I'm not going to lie, it's a little too convoluted for my taste, because Brian Zane in his review brought up a good point. The countdown would stop, and then they would just show the face card. And at that point, I was like, okay.
It was a little weird, you know.
It was a little weird.
It was kind of stalling for time.
I feel like they could have just said the buzzer hit, and then Justin Roberts says the next group to come out will be the Hearts group, and then the next group will come out. I understand AEW wanting to put, a little twist, because if they just did a Royal Rumble, then everyone would just accuse them of doing a Royal Rumble. Like, I have no issue with the structure of this match. I just feel like they could have tweaked it a little just so it's not so awful.
Yeah, but really, really great pop for Christian Cage when he comes out. And the rest of his group is Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, the Natural Dustin Rhodes, and my new favorite wrestler, Max Caster, who comes out and freaking eviscerates all four men. My favorite line in his rap was directed at Christian Cage, who he claimed was only cool when he had an edge. And I was like, God damn. And then Christian sells it. It was such a hilarious sell, because I think he looks over at Sydal and he's like, who the hell is he talking about?
But I do love how Caster, brought up the fact that Sydal debuted in this match last time, and he had that.
And he slipped.
Exactly. You remember that review? You can go back and watch it. I was terrified by Sydal. But, looking back at it now, it kind of was funny. It's over. It's done with. Sydal's not dead. He's not paralyzed. You can look back at that spot now and be like, feel bad for him.
But he must have pissed somebody off backstage at AEW, because he was the first one out egregiously. I think Matt Sydal is probably the most underutilized worker on AEW's roster right now.
That's my only other nitpick with this match, is that a lot of guys that could have hung in this match got eliminated really quickly. Because after Sydal was Max Caster.
Yeah,
I think Max Caster in this match.
Immediately thrown out by Christian, and he was holding his leg when he was eliminated, and I was like, oh God, please don't tell me.
To piggyback off of that nitpick, I think they could have let the ring fill up a little more, because Caster's out, Sydal is out, and I don't even think Dustin lasted that much longer. And we'll talk about future people in this match that get eliminated right away, and then they're doing the thing with Cage, where, Christian Cage, where later on in the match, he's selling on the outside. It's like, why does Christian need to sell on the outside? There's only like 2 people in the ring.
I know. It was weird.
This match needs some tweaking. As much fun as I had with it, it needs some tweaking.
But the diamond suit was the next one out, with Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy from the Hardy family office, Preston Vance from the Dark Order, who got loud 10 chants from the crowd, which I laughed at a lot. Nick Camarado and Serpentico actually rounded out the group.
Funny entrance. Luther basically drags him out by his ear, and the commentators say, I think Pentico is being thrown into his match against his own will. I thought that was funny.
It was funny, and then he was immediately thrown out by 10.
Yeah, it was like, there were some guys in this match I would have liked to see work more.
Yeah.
Nick Camarado, oh my God.
Dude,
he's in this match.
He's a freak of nature. He eliminated Dustin.
He did, and this is what I was talking about. A guy like Camarado has not gotten the opportunity to wrestle in front of a crowd, and now that he has, AEW, take notice, because a lot of these wrestlers are going to start working different in front of a crowd, and Camarado's a guy that, fuck it, do something with him.
Right, yeah, why not? He's got a Texas Bull Rope match against Dustin Rhodes on Dynamite. But the next suit out were the Hearts, both members of the Varsity Blondes, Colt Cabana, who is somehow still in the Dark Order, even though he doesn't fit anymore, Anthony Bowens, and Penta El Zero Miedo, who came out with some of the best Joker-inspired gear I've ever seen. Like, I freaking loved it, and the crowd loved Penta also. They were chanting Zero Miedo, and I was like, yes.
Real quick about the Cabana comment, I understand, and I'm pretty sure if, may God rest his soul, Brody Lee was still around, they would have worked an angle where Cabana could have feuded with Brody. But I think Cabana, and of course AEW would not tell him no. I think he wants to stay in for Brody. And
probably,
considering the Dark Order are the biggest fucking baby faces now.
That's fair.
I called it.
That's totally
when Brody
fair.
passed away and the whole Dark Order basically adopted his son, I was like, there's no fucking way these guys are heels now.
No.
Absolutely no way. And again, called it, they're I'm gonna be saying that a lot, and it's gonna sound contradictory. Everybody's the most over babyface in AEW right now.
Speaking of
Dark Order, they're over as hell.
Speaking of the most over babyface on the roster, the last group were the Spades. Jungle Boy. Everybody sings his song. And I'm so happy for that guy. Mark Quinn, Aaron Solo. I'm pronouncing his name right this time. There you go. I love the guy. Evil Uno, to your point of the Dark Order, got a big ovation. And Lee Johnson, who comes out with freaking Cody Rhodes' logo on his Titantron. And I was like, Cody's not in this match. And I'm like, oh, it's Lee Johnson. Okay. Okay.
Big Shotty. Let him have his own identity. Damn
it.
I love Big Shotty.
Yeah, but eventually it gets down to it's so strange because Jungle Boy comes out to that big pop and then Penta proceeds to beat the crap out of him. Like,
yeah,
it was strange, but Jungle Boy did get his revenge. He was the one that threw Penta out. But
and then my biggest kind of like moment during this match was when Powerhouse Hobbs got eliminated.
Yeah,
like, another guy that could have gone the mile in this match, and I feel like AEW. And again, between him and Caster and Seidel and another person we're going to be talking about in a second, missed opportunities.
He was tossed out by Christian, I think, if I remember right, continuing that, Team Taz debacle that he's going through right now. But to your point, you want to talk about this Joker?
The Joker card was about to come up. And you know what? People had their picks, and I was convinced none of those picks were going to happen. But we got a nice little surprise. The man of the hour, Lio Rush, is now all elite. That was very cool to see. I would have popped a little more if Justin Roberts didn't say, here's your Joker, Lio Rush. That's a little nitpick I have in mind when people get, when surprises was happening. Don't introduce the surprise. Just let the music hit, show his name on the Tron, and let the crowd pop. So I was very happy to see Lio Rush. I haven't been following his career that much since he left WWE. But the minute he stepped back in the ring, I was like, fuck, I love this guy.
He came to collect indeed, because he was working a lot with Big Money Matt, and Matt was selling for him too. Really, really nice. And, him and the Private Party have a nice little sequence together. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did he eliminate both Private Party members, or was he thrown out before then?
I think he was thrown out before then, which was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Private Party went for Silly String, which is that amazing maneuver they do where
Silly String.
I think it's Cassidy. He basically flips over the top rope, and instead of skinning the cat on his own, he's balancing on Mark Quinn's back. And it's such a visual. I love Private Party, and I totally forgot that they did that move. So that was nice to see. And then in the middle of that, Rush was trying to eliminate them both, and then Matt Hardy eliminated Rush, which
bye-bye.
Can't wait to see Lio Rush on AEW.
Thanks for coming, Joker.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see him turn it up with Matt Seidel. I want to see him turn it up against just so many wrestlers in AEW right now. And
dude, could you imagine a TNT title match with him and Miro?
Jesus Christ.
Miro would just be throwing him all over the freaking arena.
If he could catch him. And that's the most fun thing about Rush, is he's basically that little gnat that you want to smack against the wall, but you can't catch him.
Lightning quick. I've had the privilege of seeing him wrestle live a couple of times before he left to WWE, and both of his matches I thought were among the better ones I saw on the show. I believe he had a triple threat match on a 205 live taping involving him, Jordan Devlin, and somebody else, and I was like, this is a really damn good match. I really liked it. It's a hidden gem. But yeah, Lio Rush is out. Eventually it comes down to the final three: Christian, Matt Hardy, and Jungle Boy. One of these things is not like the other. Matt tries to team up with Christian, but he's having none of it.
Did you notice?
See you later.
Did you notice when Matt Hardy was trying to get Christian on his side, he was trying to strike 5-second poses, and he was doing the Hardy Boys? I was like,
yes,
that was fucking great. But it was at that point where I was like, in my mind, I was like, I know they're going to go with Christian Cage, but God damn it, I want Jungle Boy now.
Yep, especially with the crowd singing his song, and they had a nice little sequence, and God damn it, color me surprised they went with Jungle Boy, and I am so freaking happy for this guy. This guy's only like 6 months younger than I am, born back in 1997, son of Luke Perry, may he rest in peace, making a name for himself through Pro Wrestling Revolution in San Jose. And I actually did read up that he, similar to Edge at WrestleMania 6, he attended SummerSlam 2009 in Los Angeles with his dad. And I feel like, I can't really speak for Jungle Boy, I don't know the man personally, but I feel like that was the moment he knew that he wanted to do this for a living. And here he is, coming full circle with the world title shot, Christian with his seal of approval. I loved it. It was great. Awesome.
That was absolutely a fantastic moment. And I know on this channel in the past, I've kind of given AEW shit for their booking decisions. I am happy to say, though I've said in the past, you know, WWE would do this and AEW wouldn't. AEW, you know what? WWE wouldn't have done this. I'm going to call them out right now. If they were put in this situation with two similar stars, they would not have taken the chance. You know, I mean, I don't want to burst his bubble, but Jungle Boy is probably not going to win the world title. No. But why fucking not give him the chance? Right. He's going to get a main event match against the world champion in a couple weeks. And it's not going to kill the company for him to be in the main event. No. You know, this reminds me, Christian Cage is reminding me of Chris Jericho in 2012 when he came back to WWE and he put over Sheamus in the Royal Rumble. When he put over CM Punk at WrestleMania, he was putting over Dolph Ziggler in the summertime. I feel like that's Christian Cage's role now. Yeah.
I feel like Christian Cage is eventually going to get his moment to challenge Kenny Omega, whether it be over the summer or whether they want to wait until All Out to do that. I freaking loved it. You know, Christian, I think they've definitely made the right call. Jungle Boy was over like a motherfucker. I'm giving this match 3.5 stars. It was probably one of their better casino battle royales that they've done. Made the right choice at the end. Christian was the Iron Man, but yeah. What
I'm gonna give it 3.5 as well. I know I had some major nitpicks in this match, but the ending was just absolutely fantastic.
Loved it. It was awesome. Oh, speaking of nitpicks, Anthony Ogogo versus the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. Do you want to take this one? I feel like you want to take this one.
I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I hate Cody Rhodes.
I can't believe you. Oh my God. You are just a heathen now.
I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to begin. Let's start with the weigh-in. Okay, let's start with the weigh-in.
All right.
We have complained about this before on this channel. And I know a lot of people hated the weigh-in, but they probably don't hate the weigh-in for the reason I hated it. So, okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Anthony Ogogo, he's the heel because he's from England?
Yep.
It's why?
Circa 2002 tests, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I understand. The real story should be, I don't like Anthony Ogogo. He punched me in the stomach a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares if he's from England?
Right? A lot of people I know from England are super nice.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, the storyline is coming off as Ogogo's not a bad guy because he beats up people. It's coming off as Ogogo's a bad guy because he's from England.
And they did it to put the American Dream name on Cody Rhodes for a night.
Yeah. And then, but that's one nitpick. But, you know, the Factory are the heels. And Ogogo comes out with the Factory, which is what? 4 guys, 5 guys tops? And then you got Cody Rhodes.
Hold on a second, Tomas. I have to say something real quick because you just made me think of this Factory comment that I made to you last night while we were watching this. Yep. AEW Marks, you're going to be really upset with me. The Factory is the Dungeon of Doom for millennials. Yes! I got you! Good freaking Christ. So the Factory is led by QT Marshall, and they're only there to put Cody Rhodes over. Just like the Dungeon of Doom was there in WCW back in 95 to put Hogan over. Like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously.
So...
Am I wrong, viewers?
You're not wrong.
Okay, good.
Cody Rhodes, he comes out. with his theme music and his fireworks. We're not talking about the match right now. We're talking about the weigh-in for Dynamite on Friday. He has the fireworks, and he comes out with his wife and his brother and his coach and his friend and his team.
Did he come out with Pharaoh or not?
And his doctor and his mail band's sister's half cousin twice removed, and his yoga instructor, and the guy who served him coffee at Starbucks this morning. Did I need that many fucking people, Cody?
Did he come out with Pharaoh?
He might as well have.
Yeah, no, see, he has to be a heel because he didn't come out with the damn dog. But like,
and I'm just like, you think that's enough people, Cody?
Yeah, and then
comes off super obnoxious.
It really does. But you know what? He comes out on this pay-per-view with an awesome variant of his theme song, which thankfully is not sung by Snoop Dogg. It's sung by Downstate, as it always should be. But there's brass instruments thrown in there. It's very Americana. Cody Rhodes' name is emblazoned on the Tron, like in front of the flag, Old Glory. It's great. It's great. He's a white meat babyface, and the crowd responded to him in that way, Tomas. I hate to burst your bubble, but like he was over.
But I'm just so annoyed by this man. Like,
I mean, here's the thing, though. The match was nothing special. Anthony Ogogo is still, I mean, he's only had like, what, 2 or 3 singles matches in his wrestling
And that's
career.
my other issue with this match. This monster that they're trying to build, he has 2 or 3 good wins, and then he's already fighting Cody at the pay-per-view?
Yep.
You know who's going to win this match.
Because they already wasted the QT Marshall match at Blood and Guts. I can't believe I'm saying this. I would have rather seen him beat the crap out of QT Marshall on pay-per-view. I would have at least paid to see that. You know?
Yeah, and it's just like, you can't build a go-go for like a little while longer before you feed him to the wolf.
And QT Marshall was at ringside, too. You could have done that. But...
And here I am thinking, I know this was crazy thinking on my half, but I thought it would have been cool if Ogogo would have just beaten the shit out of Cody.
Right? Ref stoppage. Exactly.
Yeah,
treat him like a monster. Treat him like, treat him like a monster on the one night Cody Rhodes takes his dad's nickname. That's how you put over a monster heel. But
let the guy get heat. You know, it's just like Brock Lesnar squeezing the life out of Hulk Hogan until he was coughing up blood. You know, I just feel like Cody can afford a loss against this guy. There was absolutely no reason Cody should have won this match.
Yeah,
this is probably the most heated I've ever talked about a match before. But there was zero fucking reason why Cody Rhodes should have won this match.
In fact, he did beat Anthony Ogogo with not the Crossroads or the Disaster Kick. He beat him with the Vertebreaker. I mean, credit where it's due. I really love the Vertebreaker, and Cody actually makes it look really good. I mean, 2.5 stars. Match was fine. I mean, the crowd was definitely behind Cody Rhodes, but I definitely agree with you. The result was never in any doubt. As soon as this match was booked, I was like, Cody's got to get his revenge here.
2.25. This match just, it was all right, but it was booked wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I feel like also the crowd kind of lost interest during the actual wrestling until the actual finish, which was a little bit sudden also, if I'm going to be nitpicking a little bit more. I wasn't expecting Cody to win with the Vertebreaker, but, you know, lo and behold, that's what happened. I don't know how long the match went. It can't have been, like, longer than 10 minutes. It didn't feel like it was...
It was actually almost 11 minutes.
Well, I mean, you know, close enough. You know,
I'm just scared now because where does Ogogo go from here?
Oh, man, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful.
I know, yeah. He fucking lost. Unless he gets his win back, which I doubt it.
Yep.
Again, here's your big monster that would beat people, not even by pinning them, just punching them in the gut, and the referee had to stop the match. And where does he go from here?
I'm telling you, man, the factory is just the Dungeon of Doom 2.0. But, you know, what can I say?
And apparently all you have to do is, you know, hold the door open for Cody Rhodes and you become his best friend.
Yep. Speaking of wrestlers that Tomas absolutely despises.
It's just going to get worse from here, isn't it?
Yep. Lance Archer is challenging Miro for the TNT Championship. Why in the blue hell is Lance Archer the babyface between these two? Because Miro walks out and he's got one of the biggest pops on the entire show. And he's supposed to be like the vicious monster heel compared to Archer. Like,
okay, I'm going to get a little more.
I don't know.
I'm gonna get a little more reasonable with my reasoning.
Okay.
With this reason right here, why I really don't like Archer. I honestly think Lance Archer is extremely overrated. I remember his shit in WWE and being like, okay, he's all right. And then I heard that he went to New Japan and oh my God, he's so amazing. He's amazing. I was like, okay, I want to see this guy. He comes to AEW.
Yeah.
And then they turn him babyface, and I'm like, okay, that seems really forced. But then
he's not a babyface. I refuse to believe still that Lance Archer is the babyface here.
The heel Miro made a very good point on Dynamite. Why is Jake Roberts holding him back? If Archer was really the babyface and he being held back by your manager, that's what pussy shit heels do.
Yep.
Paul Heyman tells Brock Lesnar to stand down.
Yep.
Paul Heyman tells Roman Reigns to stand down. If the babyface wants to fight, then the babyface is going to fight. Miro was ready to fight on Friday.
Yeah.
And what does the babyface manager, Jake the Snake Roberts, do? He makes fun of Miro's native tongue, and I'm supposed to cheer for Archer.
AEW 2021, everybody. Yeah, Miro was for sure the babyface here. I refuse to believe that he was the heel because Jake the Snake Roberts, in fact, does run interference later on, even though Miro had apparently beaten the shit out of him. He comes out with his snake, which I guess was gimmicked. I don't think there was an actual snake in there because
I don't think AEW is not gonna abuse an animal.
I don't think Tony Khan wants PETA on his ass right now.
No.
But yeah, so Miro beats up Jake the Snake again. He picks up the bag with the gimmick in there, and then he tosses it across the stage. Miro is the freaking best man for a reason.
And then I text that. Remember when Drew McIntyre killed that spider?
Oh, God damn. He killed Eric Redbeard's spider. He killed the Vintner spider. Yep.
I don't know why. I immediately thought of that spot. But the match itself was fine. I don't know. It wasn't as big as a hoss fight as I'd expected to be. There was a cool table spot in the beginning. Yeah. Miro wins when he's able to get Archer in the modified game over, which I really appreciate how he does. He usually does it on smaller people, but I really appreciated how he did it on Archer. And the right guy went over. I would have been fuming mad if Miro would have lost this match.
No, and there was no way. There was no way because
Miro's the babyface, and start booking him like one.
Yeah, Miro just won the championship, so I don't think the result was in any doubt here. I think they're going to book Miro to be a dominant TNT champion, maybe even the longest reigning TNT champion, ideally. But I mean, I like the match more than the previous match. I gave it 3 stars. It's a pretty good hoss fight, if you can call it that. Miro winning absolutely was the right call with winning with the game over or the accolade, because I think that's just a cooler name. There were a few too many botches for my liking, like Lance Archer's botched dive over the top rope at the beginning during Miro's entrance. And I was like, that's inexcusable, man. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but that should have looked a lot cooler.
I also like this match more than the previous match, but not by a lot. I give it 2.5. Unfortunately, Rhodes, Ogogo, and Miro Archer, this was really probably the steepest the show would have got, because it picked up again after these 2 matches.
I liked the match. I think one of the only things that would have made this better is if the crowd chanted "You sick fuck" at Miro after he threw the snake. I have no idea how you don't get that chant.
And that's the only heelish thing Miro did.
Yep.
Let's just say the show started here, and then by the Cody Rhodes match, it started dipping.
It was a canyon.
But then it went right back up.
It was a canyon, basically. Yeah. But again, it's impossible for me to believe that Miro is a heel, because he's just too damn endearing. Like,
he really is. It's still Miro Day.
Yeah. If anybody watches his YouTube channel and his Twitch, you would know. You would know how cool of a guy he is in real life.
I met Miro at WrestleMania 31 Access, and he was in character, and you could tell he didn't want to be in character because he's such a nice guy in real life.
Yeah.
Like, he was supposed to be this evil foreign heel. He shook my hand and he asked me how I was doing today. And I'm just like, this guy wants to have an actual conversation with me.
So badly. I
want to meet the real Miro now.
Same, dude. I mean, I'm first in line there. But yeah, to your point, this is where the show really picks up. AEW Women's World Title on the line. Hikaru Shida defending against Dr. Brit Baker, D.M.D. Man, oh man, that is such an over gimmick. And she got it over. You know, it's simple and it's kind of obnoxious, but like everybody was doing it. And when they were chanting D.M.D, I saw a few guys in the front row that were doing the actual finger motions along with the chant.
Oh, like, yeah. You want to talk about a heel that is over, but is actually good at being a heel? Brit Baker all the way. Brit Baker, man. I loved her since day one. But she's come a long way from being booed off of the ship at the Jericho Cruise for her horrendous promo skills to being the most over heel.
Oh, yeah.
In AEW right now. You want to talk about the most over baby faces? Well, Brit Baker's the most over heel. You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's going to hold on to this
for a reason. She is my favorite woman in AEW.
Spoiler alert, she's going to hold on to this belt for a long time. But these two women, really, really nice chain wrestling between the two. Hikaru Shida was overcome with emotion that the crowd was at full capacity here because she was wrestling as the champion with pretty much, you know, almost nobody in the building for a whole year. You know,
she, you know, to Shida's credit, which I'm not saying that as a downsider, I love Shida, but Shida really put this women's division on her back this past year, and she kept it going.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she 100%. Deserved that year-long run. She had great matches with Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. And she, you know, her and Nyla connected well. I mean, I was sick of seeing it after a while, but
they wrestled way too many times, and it was the same exact match.
But Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, and you know, really elevating these women on the roster.
Ty Conti,
exactly.
Abaddon. You know, the list goes on and on. But yeah, really, really great chain wrestling between these two, and they were teasing finishers early on. Rebel was trying to run interference the whole way. There was a point where she accidentally hits Dr. Baker with the crutch because apparently Rebel is still injured with a doctor's note that Britt Baker wrote herself.
Even though she's a dentist.
I know, right? Yeah, no, that's the funniest thing about the gimmick. It's like Rebel can't wrestle because of a doctor's note that a dentist wrote for her about her knee injury.
That's like if I had the flu, but I got a note from my chiropractor saying I can't go to work.
That's a good analogy right there. But no, that's a near fall basically with the crutch. And then this is really, really getting into the nitpicks here. Dr. Baker, it gets to a point where the belt comes into play. The brand spanking new AEW Women's World Title belt, which looks so much better than the old one. The center plate is so much bigger and it looks a lot more natural and not just like a toy. But basically what happens is I think Shida tried to hit her with the title and then Baker reversed it and then she hits a curb stomp onto the title. And I'm like, that's freaking it right there. Shida kicks out though. I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm pulling a page out of Chris Lash's playbook here. Shida should not have kicked it out there. Like, she
definitely
that was overkill.
You could tell they were teasing it throughout the entire match too. They wanted this match to end with lockjaw. They wanted Shida to tap out to Baker.
Yep, and that's exactly what she did. The lockjaw, an awesome submission hold. And there you go. Tomas is right there on the shirt. Brand new AEW Women's World Champion, and I think she's going to hold the title for a long time because she is over.
If any wrestling company needs advice on how to build someone for a solid year to get the payoff of putting the title on them, Britt Baker is the best example I could possibly think of. Again, in January 2020, she was booed off of the boat because her promo was so bad.
Yep.
And this is when she first turned heel, when they were playing around with the idea of her being a heel. And then, unfortunately, she got injured. But at the same time, the injury was the best thing to happen to her because she was still on TV, in the wheelchair, on the crutches, talking shit to Shivani, you know, having a decked out wheelchair and having Rebel be her, you know, her personal assistant.
She was a role model.
Bully system. Her passing notes to Shivani.
Yep. And
you know,
oh man,
being so hyped in her return and then just absolutely dominating the women's division. And then here you are. And Shivani even said on commentary, you know, I thought he was being sarcastic at first, but he said, you know how close me and Baker are. And if she wins the title tonight, I'm going to go and give her a hug. And he does that. And
it's
I thought
exactly
that was
what she did.
moment.
Even though Shivani is kind of like your neutral, like, moral voice of reason on commentary, even though they're all kind of moral voices of reason, JR, Tony, and Excalibur, he goes over and he hugs the heel, Brit Baker, and it was honestly, this might be one of the feel-good moments of the year, that hug on the stage. It was really, really nice. I gave the match 4 stars. I mean, I'm nitpicking only for this curb stomp, basically, that Shida kicked out of, and she shouldn't have.
Yeah,
but
4 stars for me. This was probably some of the best wrestling you'll see out of the women in AEW.
Yeah.
Probably, and this was the most emotional match for me for the Baker stuff. And then I guess this morning, Shida posted a picture on Instagram of her on the floor in tears, saying this, seeing the audience last night was absolutely amazing. And me dropping the title to Britt Baker was amazing, but that was hard. You could tell that she really, this past year, her being women's champion, this affected her a lot. And to see that raw emotion from her was, again, that this match, after thinking about it, and when I go and watch it again, it's going to tug at the heartstrings. This was, a double or nothing moment.
It really was. Yep. That's going to be trademarked in about 5 years.
Yeah.
But speaking of heightened emotions, for the first time in an actual sanctioned match in 6 years, we see the return of the icon Sting, and he's teaming up with his apprentice, Darby Allin, against
his son, Darby Allin.
God damn it, because he's picking up his son for school. Yeah. Is that why in that freaking video package before they fight?
It was so corny, but I loved it.
Before they fight Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page in a tag match, and Sting got a huge ovation when he walked out. My God, it's fucking Sting. Of course he's going to get a huge pop. But Darby Allin walks out right after him, and Sting is really, putting him on that pedestal, by entering out first. Because Darby Allin, he's putting, but you get my point. Darby Allin hits a tope immediately onto Ethan Page on the outside during his theme song. This man has no fear. Absolutely no fear.
Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, I hate this team. But in the build up to this match and during this match, they worked very well.
Because it's a random team. That's why. It's a random team.
I'm drained after complaining after those last 2 matches. I'm not going to get into it right now. But I think this match was booked perfectly.
This match was so much better than it had any right to be. Because there was a point towards the start where Scorpio Sky gives Sting a suplex onto the ramp, which made me jump up and scream because, of Sting's stack of dimes for a neck. Scorpio Sky goes and, jaw jacks with the crowd. Sting absolutely no-sells it. He goes behind Darby Allin and he's just, or not Darby, Scorpio Sky staring a hole right through him while Scorpio is, celebrating. And I saw this on Twitter before I hit go, actually, while I was waiting for Tomas to log in. But basically, I saw a side-by-side comparison of this moment and the AJ Undertaker moment in the Boneyard match. I was like, yes.
That's going to be a meme. When I saw that moment between Sting and Sky, I was like, that's a fucking meme right there.
How it started, how it's going, 2 old spooky dudes taking down the upstarts who are good at wrestling. If you can call AJ Styles an upstart, but but in any case, Sting is awesome. He does that big old dive onto both of them, and I'm like, holy shit, you would have never have guessed that this guy got hurt against Seth Rollins. You would have never have guessed that.
Considering what happened to Sting in 2015, I wanted Sting to just come out of the entrance and say, I survived, bitch.
Yep, because WWE would not clear him, but here he is.
Yeah, and then, not bad for a 61-year-old man. The spot of the match
62 now. 62 now and change. Nuts.
Ethan Page, again, Darby Allin has no fear, and I don't understand. I feel like sometimes he doesn't have a brain either, because Ethan Page lifts this, 50-pound man soaking wet up.
Little pipsqueak.
Yeah, and just straight out of a movie scene, just launches him into the front row.
He launches him into the front row onto Darby's real-life brother, Zack. Seriously. Yeah, Zack was at ringside and he catches his brother. Like,
oh my God.
Like,
I'm convinced that whoever Darby Allin is working with, they're just sitting backstage. They go up to Darby Allin and say, hey, what do you want to do tonight? And he just says, just fuck me up. Just absolutely fuck me up. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. You want to talk about the fearlessness of Darby Allin. Let's talk about the strength of Ethan Page to actually pull that off. Like, he is deceptively... He was
channeling Karate Man for a second.
Deceptively muscular. You know, like, Ethan Page is awesome. But, of course, there's heat on Darby, and to your point, he's getting absolutely battered when the eventual hot tag and the inevitable hot tag comes, and here comes the stinger, and Tomas texts me this as it's happening. Sting with a code red. A sentence I never thought I would say.
Yeah.
In my life. You know,
my only nitpick with this match is I swear Sting got the hot tag like 3 times.
Did he though? Like,
there was multiple hot tags in this match, and I was like, okay, I get it, it's cool, but you know, that many times though, that's true. It was kind of overkill. Nitpick though.
Here was one of my nitpicks with the match though. You have Darby Allin and excuse me, and Page as your legal men. And both of them are in holds. Darby is in the Indian heel hook that Scorpio Sky has on him, or whatever you call that. And then Sting has got the death lock on Ethan Page. And now they're kind of gouging at each other. Both victims in both holds. And it's like, shouldn't you be selling the pain of those submission holds a little bit more?
Yeah, the same Scorpion death lock that, you know, beat Hulk Hogan for the world title all of a sudden has no effect.
Yep. There you go. But yeah, so it eventually comes down to Sting and Scorpio Sky. Scorpio was actually a huge fan of Sting growing up, so I can only feel, man, I felt so awesome for Scorpio that he got to basically wrestle his idol on pay-per-view, basically in front of a full capacity crowd. And he goes for a big, like, you know, tornado DDT, and it's a beautiful counter into a Scorpion death drop out of nowhere by Sting, and Scorpio Sky puts his idol over, clean in the middle.
You know, I'm going to make a joke first, and then I'll go into like a serious analysis. So
go ahead.
Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky just lost to a senior citizen wearing clown makeup.
Yep, they
carries
did.
A football bat around.
They did, you know?
But you got to admit, you know, Sting was in there hanging with the young kids.
He really was.
You know, he wasn't out there wrestling Triple H. He wasn't out there wrestling someone his own age that would like work a slower style. He was out there, you know, running with the young kids.
No.
That's like if you had a retired NFL Hall of Famer, if you just put him with the practice squad of one of the current teams right now, and he was fucking running with them. It was such a sight to see.
This is basically why you're not getting a Sting versus Undertaker match. Not only because Undertaker is already retired and he's done, but, you know, it would just be a slow plotting match because both men are over 55. So, you know, it wouldn't be any good right now. They're way past their prime. And yes, absolutely. Props to Sting. He looks freaking awesome. This match was so much better than it had any right to be. I honestly gave it 3.5. I'm not even joking. This was such a fun match.
3.5 for me. Yeah, this was pretty solid. And now,
loved it.
Ooh, you know, I've been thinking about this one for a while, and I think I know what I'm going to go with this match. But AEW World Title is on the line as Kenny Omega defends against Orange Cassidy and Pac. And oh my God, was I looking forward to this one.
The slacker, the bastard, and the champion in a 3-way. Good Lord, this match was awesome. These three, just such crisp wrestling. Kenny Omega is on top of his game. Pac has always been super underrated. I mean, I loved him back when he was the king of the cruiserweights, but, you know, here he is wrestling for a world title like he deserves. And Orange freaking Cassidy, man. I think if I said Max Caster was my new favorite wrestler, clearly not. You know, like, this guy is just, if you want to talk about Hangman Page not trying, Orange Cassidy has to do absolutely nothing. And he is still over as fuck with everybody.
He could stand, and I mean, he does. He stands in the ring with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
And the crowd will cheer for him for 30 minutes straight.
It's amazing. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, I don't know what his secret is.
You know, Orange Cassidy could stand there with his sunglasses on, pull a lollipop out of his pocket, slowly unwrap it, and the crowd would probably go, oh, yeah! Like he's doing something so mundane. And I fucking love Orange Cassidy for that.
I tried so hard to not spit out my drink while you were making that analogy. But, oh man, this match was so good. I mean, everybody got their spots in. Pac was hitting the red arrow. I refuse to call it the black arrow just because the red arrow is so much cooler. But he hits, I believe, Orange Cassidy with the black arrow or the red arrow. 2 count, you know, so awesome. Orange Cassidy, I think, hit like a beach break on Omega, and then the crowd was chanting that was 3 at Aubrey Edwards, and I was like, you know, I really want to fucking see this guy become the world champion.
Had the best storytelling of the night, because going into it, I would admit I had this thought, and I'm sure a lot of people had this thought, that Omega was not going to lose this match. He was not going to lose the title here. Of course he wasn't. But there was so many times in this match where I was actually believing that they were going to put the title on Pac or Cassidy. Right. And you know what? I'm not saying this out of bitterness. I'm saying this out of reality. They could have done it. They really could have done it, and I would not have been mad.
Me neither. The crowd. Could you imagine how apeshit the crowd would have gotten if Orange Cassidy had actually done the impossible? Like, oh my God, they would have
huge V-trigger to Cassidy. And then this is my favorite part of the match. Omega starts calling for the belts. Don Callis throws in the Impact World title.
Oh, you're
Pac with it.
Yeah, can I cut you off for a second? Because there was a point where I think Orange Cassidy was pinning Pac. Kenny Omega was out of the equation, and you hear Don Callis, who was on commentary for most of this match, go, shit! And then you just hear him leave, and, you know, there's a referee, he's counting, Rick Knox is counting, and then Don Callis pulls the referee out of the ring to save Kenny Omega's title. And what does the crowd chant, Tomas?
Fuck you, Don. And I was right there with them.
Oh, I loved it.
It just pissed me off. And again, the storytelling. If Don Callis wouldn't have done that, Omega would have lost the title. And that's such a shitbag heel thing to do. But then, again, like I was alluding to, Omega starts calling for the belts. The referee is down. Pac gets blasted with the Impact World title. Omega says another one. The AAA World title. Boom. Omega calls for another one. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Boom. Off the skull of Pac. Pac is in La La Land at this point.
He doesn't know where he is.
And then the AEW World title comes into play. Blast him with it. And then I see Cassidy. He's at the apron. And then Cassidy runs in. He hits a big orange punch onto Kenny Omega. He goes to cover Pac. There's no referee. Aubrey Edwards comes sprinting out of the entranceway. She jumps in the ring. 1, 2.
Oh, man. I should
have been the fucking finish.
It was so goddamn amazing. Yeah, there was also a point where Pac was not selling Orange Cassidy's lethal kicks. What a fucking unprofessional he is, you know? But yeah, there was a point where Pac also had Orange Cassidy in the Rings of Saturn submission hold, and then
Brutalizer. Now that's
the Brutalizer. Yeah, the Brutalizer. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what he renamed it to. I remembered it.
Yeah, that was the Brutalizer.
But
that's a good name.
Yeah, so this is before all the belt shots. This is actually what led into the belt shots.
Oh, yes.
Kenny Omega beats the living shit out of that referee to stop the submission. Like, there's nothing he could do to stop Orange Cassidy from tapping
out. I love
that
that spot, too, because Pac is just not letting go of that Brutalizer, and Omega's trying to get him out. So what does Omega do? The shittiest thing a man can do. He fucking hits the ref. What a fucking coward. Absolutely
brilliant heel psychology from Kenny Omega there. I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. So this goddamn finish, man, there were so many points where I think Orange Cassidy hit like an orange punch. He goes to pin Omega, but then Kenny rolls him up in a crucifix pin and a 3 count out of nowhere. And I was like, damn it. So close.
Yes. And, the best part about this match was that they kept everybody so fucking strong in this match.
Yes.
Pac could have won. Cassidy could have won.
Yeah.
And the only reason why Omega did win is not only because he fucking cheated 5 times, he got lucky.
He really did.
It kept his opponent strong in the best way possible. And you know what? God damn it, I'm giving this match 5 stars. I fucking love it. I fucking love this match. The storytelling was so fucking good.
I'm going 4 3/4 on this. I mean, it
was good.
If we had gotten a new champion again, similar to the tag title match, it's very, very possible I could have gone 5 stars. But
and like I was talking to Zack about before this podcast, this match and the triple threat universal title match at WrestleMania, they're tied for match of the year for me.
Man, until we get live crowds back fully.
Yeah, exactly. So
on a
far,
weekly basis.
Pac, Cassidy, Omega, and Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Edge, they're tied for match of the year for me.
Again, you're the one that was like, oh, we're getting too many triple threat matches. Both of your candidates for match of the year are triple threat matches.
Hey, we weren't getting watered down triple threats like we did at WrestleMania Backlash.
I know, but yeah. God damn it! I wanted Orange Cassidy to win so badly, though.
I would have.
He will get another shot. He will get another shot.
We're getting Omega Cassidy 1-on-1. You have to.
And I was, when I saw this match was booked, I was like, okay, the way they're building up this Omega Cassidy feud is really enticing. I was just concerned that Pac was in there to be the pinfall guy, but no, he wasn't. Omega just got lucky pinning Orange Cassidy. My guy was the pinfall guy, and I wasn't even mad.
No.
I was not even mad.
I was so emotionally invested in that match. I don't think they could have booked it any better.
Yep.
They kept Omega. They kept the title on Omega, which I'm sure they wanted. Pac and Cassidy still stayed strong. And AEW did not ignore the fact that the fans fucking want this guy to be champion.
Yeah. Oh, man. I really want him to be champion. So, we'll see where this goes in a few months. But before we get to this main event, I should be noting that Tony Schiavone announces that AEW is getting a second weekly television program, basically their equivalent to SmackDown. AEW Rampage debuts on TNT August 13th, and he announces that they've signed a new analyst for this show. And Tomas, on Rampage, I feel like somebody's going to get their ass kicked. Somebody's going to get their wig split because it's Mark Henry. And I'm like, wow.
Was half paying attention. And when I heard the world's strongest man, I was like, wait, what? And there you go, Mark Henry. I didn't even know he left WWE.
Me neither.
And good for him. That's going to be really cool. Just to think, 6 years ago, Big Show and Mark Henry were feuding against each other on Monday Night Raw. And now they're commentators. They're going to be on a commentary team together in 2021.
Two of the biggest commentators I've ever seen.
Exactly. And 2 guys that we've grown up with. It's right. It was cool to see. And
all I'm saying is he better come out to 3-6 Mafia every week or I'm going to be upset.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice little surprise to see Henry showing up in AEW.
Yep.
And then, like we said, we got our announcements. AEW, they're full throttle now. They're not holding anything back. All Out in Chicago, September 5th. And then November 10th, I believe, is Full Gear.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Full Gear in
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Yep. I was like, oh, come on. I saw the Full Gear logos coming on. I was like, oh, please, Tony Khan, give me a Bay Area AEW pay-per-view. But then I see the goddamn arch, and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Soon. We will get something. But
yeah.
Fuck it. Let's get back on the road. Let's get back to normal life. Fuck it. I'm ready.
Yeah, me too, man. But hey, speaking of normal life, how is this for a salute to the pandemic era of wrestling with the one cinematic match that I feel like defined the last year? Stadium Stampede 2, baby. The Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. I told you, Tomas. I told you this was leading to... I told you Blood and Guts wasn't the ending. I was like, we're getting Stadium Stampede
for this match because, like you said, it's a cinematic match and it's going to be in front of a live crowd. So I was a little concerned on how it was going to come off, but this match was very fun. And we definitely saw some things that I did not think we were going to see. First of all, the inner circle propelling from the scoreboard.
Good.
Holy shit, that looks scary.
And everybody sang the song.
It was like fucking cool though to see.
Yeah, I was like, thank Christ they made it down safely, but also shout out to the bastard himself, MJF, not to be confused with Pac, of course. MJF is wearing like street clothes and his jeans are bedazzled, and of course he has to have plaid somewhere, so he puts them on his fucking knee pads. And I'm like, you're such a dick, man. Like, I hate those plaid knee pads. They're so obnoxious. But to your point, yes, I really did enjoy Stadium Stampede 2. No way it was going to be better than Stadium Stampede 1. Absolutely no way in hell. That was too entertaining. There wasn't going to be 100 yards of Northern Lights suplexes. There wasn't going to be Chris Jericho challenging the play. But you know what? We got a lot of really entertaining shit in this match.
No flag on the play for excessive celebration. Unfortunately, nothing like that.
No Alex Wright celebration.
Yeah, let's talk about what we did see in this match. And we saw Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears starting it off in the ring. There was a ring in the middle of the football field. They got a couple of spots. There's a random oil fire in a drum.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about.
Wardlow was trying to set Jake Hager on fire.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
That was weird. But there was a little bit of wrestling in the beginning. And then here's the biggest surprise that I didn't think they were going to go with. Everyone, kind of split off. And then whoever the inner circle, their kind of counterpart, they went off to a little segment with them. Like Chris Jericho and MJF were wrestling in the actual office space that was in the stadium of Jaguar Stadium. Yep. And then you have Wardlow and Jake Hager fighting in the freezer in kind of like
I
the
love
belly
that.
of the beast.
Yeah, no, they were fighting in the freezer, and I actually did note down a JR quote. I think Hager's pissed. And I'm like, you don't say. You don't say. Boomer sooner indeed.
The fake pigs.
Oh. And no, my question is, why do you have a full pig in your freezer during the off season?
Brian Zane brought up a good point. You really think they're preparing the meat at the stadium?
I mean, Jaguars are probably going to sell a lot of tickets with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne reuniting on offense. So, I mean, they've got to be preparing somehow. I mean, they're preparing because you actually saw Urban Meyer make a cameo in his office, and Jericho and MJF were fighting, and you see Urban Meyer just I forget the other guy's name for the life of me. I'm sorry, Jaguars fans, but he was tossing Jericho footballs, and he was hitting MJF with the footballs, just throwing them at them, and I have no idea how you didn't get a longest yard spot. Like, him hitting MJF square in the dick with one.
Oh, that would have been great.
Like, that was one of my favorite scenes in that whole film. I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Burt Reynolds, 1974, longest yard. Look it up. Best Picture nominee. So, anyway, yeah, to your point, Jake Hager and Wardlow are fighting in the freezer. Eventually, he gets to a point where Hager blasts him through a big, scaffold of wooden...
And Wardlow tries to stab Hager with an ice pick.
With a big giant icicle. Yeah, of course.
And then here comes the weirdest part of the match for me. So Sammy Guevara is looking for Shawn Spears, and then you see Spears in a room surrounded by chairs.
Because he's the chairman.
Hold on, he's going. He's in a room full of chairs.
Yeah.
Because he's the chairman.
Get it?
Get it?
Yeah.
He likes chairs.
Of course he does. Yeah. That wasn't what I think you were going with, the weirdest spot in the match. Why is there a disco club open in the stadium during the offseason that Proud and Powerful and FTR were fighting in?
This is the weirdest football stadium ever.
And why the hell is Conan the DJ?
I popped for Conan.
I did too, but I was like, there's literally no reason for Conan to be here other than even the odds for Proud and Powerful, so he can make sure that Tully Blanchard doesn't get involved. And
that's exactly what he did.
And props to Tully Blanchard, by the way, for dressing exactly like FTR with, like, you know, the cutoff shirts and the jeans and the cowboy boots and the whatchamacallit, the bandana around his neck.
But then Santana and Ortiz and FTR, they start beating the shit out of patrons. They're just beating the shit out of people with this for no reason.
And then Tully is like serving both teams drinks like he's buddies with Proud and Powerful now. I'm like, what? What?
God, this match
did I miss
wild.
something?
Also, before that, going back to the Guevara Spears stuff, they do battle to the point where Spears handcuffs Guevara to one of the scaffolding. But then right before they cut to the nightclub scene, you see Guevara notice the bolt cutters, and you know, surprise, surprise, there he's able to get himself out of the bolt cutters. Is that where they go back to MJF and Jericho?
Yeah, they were fighting in the big conference room, and Jericho staples a little postcard to MJF's forehead. And one of the only things that were missing from this Stadium Stampede match were the "You Deserve a Chance" for MJF.
Oh yeah,
when that happened, because that prick did deserve that. So,
and then for some reason, there's a ball peen hammer in the office. And
after MJF hits the pile driver on that big wooden table, he goes for the claw hammer to go for Jericho's dislocated elbow, which I should note was in that brace the whole time. And for some reason, Floyd was hidden in one of those cupboards.
It's like Jericho knew they were going to go there.
Jericho lured him. He's breaking kayfabe. He lured him to that conference room so he could grab Floyd.
But apparently, the arm is not kayfabe. Apparently, Jericho was working this match hurt, which would have explained his kind of limited, his limited style in this match.
Yeah, for sure. So I forgot who it was, but someone was chased down by the Inner Circle Motorcycle Club, as Tony Schiavone refers to it.
Oh, that was Spears.
And I was like, who?
Yeah.
The Inner Circle Motorcycle Club.
I will admit, there have been a lot of episodes of Dynamite during this pandemic that I have been half-assed paying attention to. So I was like, okay, they probably mentioned it on Dynamite. But no, apparently it was like, since when? Since when the fuck is that a thing?
Yeah, when was it a thing? The Inner Circle was never Aces and Eights or the Sons of Anarchy. So also, it doesn't even fit their gimmick.
Excalibur, like literally the minute they show him the screen, that's the Inner Circle Biker Club. Like, apparently Pentagon knows who they are. I mean, Pentagon, Excalibur knows who they are.
Similar masks, though. Like, I mean, I get why you would get those two mixed up, but one is a commentator, one is not. So, in any case, Jericho and MJF fight over to where the people are, actually, and they're out on the balcony. There was a point where MJF teased tossing Jericho over that barricade, like 50 feet to the concrete below, and I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, no.
But, they teased it. Jericho hits him with a spotlight, puts him to a table, and MJF is bleeding everywhere. Funny enough, that's the last you'd see of them. That's not how the match would end, because Shawn Spears eventually is chased back into the arena, and Sammy Guevara, Poetic Justice, is the one driving the golf cart this time, and he chases Shawn Spears into the arena and runs him down with said golf cart. Oh my God, Sammy Guevara is such an over babyface. I never in a million years thought I would say that. He was hyping up this crowd so much. They loves this guy.
You know, also remember, Guevara wrestled on the very first episode of Dynamite in the very first match.
Against Cody.
He is coming full circle with the Inner Circle, being the last match and being the last thing you saw in the first pay-per-view back with the live audience. That was so fucking cool to see for him.
Fittingly enough, he hits the 630 splash on Shawn Spears, and after being the one that took the one-winged angel in last year's Stadium Stampede match and being the one that lost for the Inner Circle, here he is winning the match for the Inner Circle and keeping them together. I thought that was excellent booking, a great decision to put Sammy over like this. Good Lord, I love this. I gave this 4.5 stars, if I'm being honest, but there was no way it was topping the first Stadium Stampede. But
no, I gave it 4 stars. This was definitely, it was a more serious style this time. A little odd, but I appreciated what they did.
That's a given. You know what? Of course it was going to be odd.
Going from here on out, it's nice to say we're doing cinematic matches because we want to, not because we have to.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? What a concept. They actually do have a happy ending. Not even WrestleMania had a happy ending on night 2. You know, they actually put the Inner Circle over. They're staying together, and they're flipping off the hard cam, of course, because they're edgy. And everyone sings Judas, and as they're emotional and they're hugging, and it's awesome. God, I love this. I love this. I mean, Double or Nothing 2021 was a great show. I think, man, I gotta watch this show again and see if it was like, I actually do think it was like, I can't decide if this was better than last year or not, man.
I would say yeah, because obviously crowd and stuff. I'm teetering between an 8 and a 9.
I'm going 9. I'm going 9 for this. I mean,
9. Why not?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I mean, it has a match of the year candidate on there. I mean,
yeah, fuck it. I'm giving it a 9.
I mean,
and let's just say, how about this? 8 for the pay-per-view itself. It gets that extra point from the crowd. I'm sorry. We have to give the crowd props. It was so nice to see. Everybody, let's do all of ourselves a favor. Let's never do that again. And let's never take this for granted again.
No, I'm sure as hell not going to take it for granted. I mean, eventually when San Jose does get the horror show at Extreme Rules, I'm sure Tomas and I will be there. But, you know, I mean, hey, if you see us, hit us up. You know, we're always happy to talk wrestling with you guys. And, yeah, we thank you so much for going on this ride with us over this past year or so that we've been doing this. It's absolutely crazy how quick time is going by.
Don't worry, everybody. This is just the beginning. We're just getting started. We have In Your House coming up. We have Money in the Bank with a full crowd, which I can't wait for WWE to get.
Yep. I'm calling it right now. I think Riddle's winning it with a full crowd, Tomas.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see who's in the ladder match. One more Thunderdome pay-per-view. We can do this. We got this.
We got this. Yep.
One more Thunderdome pay-per-view.
We've gone through like 8 or 9 shitty Thunderdome pay-per-views already, but I mean, you know, what's one more? So if you guys want to keep going on this journey with us, if you guys want to continue discussing all things entertainment, one more reminder, smash that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. Thank you all so much for clicking on the video and making it this far. If you enjoyed what you saw tonight, hit that thumbs up button as well. That would really, really mean the world. And we thank you so much for your support. Tomas, I mean, it's always fun talking with you, buddy. You know that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. And with all that being said, stay tuned for the next one. Commence that back talk.